Have you ever wondered why you feel so different from everyone around you? Why you sense things others don't? Why pain follows you, but you always rise stronger? Welcome to the chosen path, a journey for those who were never meant to fit in, but destined to stand out. If you're here, it's not by accident. You were guided here, and what you're about to hear might awaken something ancient inside you. Because in this video, you're going to learn what it really means to be chosen, the hidden signs, the divine tests, and the reason God isolates his strongest warriors. This is not just a video, it's a calling. So put your headphones on, clear your mind. You're not just watching, you're remembering. Let's begin. You've been sensing it for a long time, haven't you? That subtle pull deep within your spirit. It doesn't scream, but it never leaves. It whispers to you at night, when the world is quiet. It speaks through strange coincidences, dreams, moments of déjà vu. And no matter how hard you try to silence it, it keeps returning, reminding you you were never meant for an ordinary life. There's a reason you never quite fit in. You tried to walk their path, follow their rules, chase their version of happiness, but something in your soul kept rebelling. That was not rebellion. That was revelation. You are not broken. You are built for something higher. And when God marks you for more, comfort becomes poison. The chosen ones are not created in crowds, they are forged in isolation. People don't understand you, and they're not meant to. Your energy disrupts the patterns they've grown numb to. Your presence awakens what they've buried. And that's why they distance themselves, not because of your darkness, but because of your light. You are a mirror they can't yet face, but you must keep shining, even if it makes others uncomfortable. That's your assignment. Everything you've survived was never meant to break you. It was meant to wake you. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the silence, it was sacred training. While others were building resumes, you were building resilience. While they chased approval, you were cultivating power. You didn't choose this journey, but your soul did. Long before you were born, it said yes to this mission. And now, you're remembering who you are. Not who they told you to be, but who you were created to become. You are not here to blend in. You are here to awaken, to disrupt, to lead. Your life is not a mistake. It's a message. And the more you step into your truth, the more the universe will align to support you. This is the moment. Don't dim your fire. Burn unapologetically. People think being chosen means being praised, followed, celebrated. But the truth is, being chosen often feels like being cursed. It's lonely, it's heavy, it's quiet. You start questioning everything. Why me? Why this path? Why so much pain? But the question isn't, why me? It's, what now? Because the calling never goes away. It only grows louder. When God calls you, he doesn't ask for your resume. He asks for your surrender. He doesn't look for perfection. He looks for willingness. Are you willing to walk alone? Are you willing to be misunderstood? Are you willing to be refined by fire? That's what separates the chosen from the comfortable. The calling will cost you your comfort, but give you your crown. Sometimes the silence is deafening. You cry out, and heaven seems quiet. But don't mistake silence for absence. In your darkest moments, you're not being abandoned. You're being watched. Heaven is holding its breath, waiting for you to rise. Not for applause, not for followers, but because your rise will unlock others. Your obedience creates ripples across generations. You were never meant to follow maps made by lost people. Your journey is uncharted. That's why no one gets it, because no one has walked it before. You are the blueprint. You are the pioneer. You're not late. You're not lost. You're being divinely delayed for divine alignment. Don't rush what God is perfecting in you. Trust the timing, even when it hurts. This is the path few will understand, but many will follow. Once you take the first step, you don't need clarity. You need courage. Because the first step is always taken in the dark. But don't be afraid. You're not alone. The same God who called you is walking with you. Every tear, every scar, every silent night. It's all part of the preparation. Keep going. There will come a point where everything around you begins to fall apart. Relationships collapse. Dreams shatter. And the path ahead disappears. It will feel like God has forgotten you. But this is not abandonment. This is the sacred breakdown, the divine undoing of everything that is not aligned with your purpose. The chosen path always begins with loss, so that what was never truly yours can be stripped away. Pain becomes your teacher in ways comfort never could. It sharpens your discernment. It cleanses your vision. When you suffer deeply, you begin to see clearly. You stop begging for crumbs of approval. You stop explaining your worth. You start to realize that what was taken was never meant to stay. And what's coming requires you to be lighter, freer, more focused. In this stage, you'll feel invisible. People will forget your name. Opportunities will dry up, but don't panic. This is the pruning. God removes excess so fruit can grow. The spotlight disappears because He needs you to hear only Him. He is not hiding you to hurt you. He is hiding you to heal you. Because when your time comes, you won't need to chase. You will be sent. Every betrayal you've faced was a divine revelation in disguise. People showed you who they really are, so you would finally stop shrinking to keep them close. Rejection is not the enemy. It's redirection. It pushes you out of rooms where your spirit is suffocating. It opens doors you didn't even know existed. Don't curse the ones who left. Thank them. They set you free. Eventually, you'll look back and realize that the breaking was the blessing. The loneliness was sacred. The silence was a gift. You didn't lose anything. You were being led. And everything that felt like the end was actually the beginning of your real story. You didn't fall apart. You fell into alignment. This is the chosen path, and you were born for it. There's a kind of strength only found in silence, not the silence of fear, but the silence of purpose. When you stop trying to prove yourself, when you stop begging to be seen, you become dangerous. Because now, your power comes from within. The world can no longer manipulate you with applause or approval. Your confidence becomes divine, untouchable, unshakable. The more awakened you become, the more noise you eliminate. Not just physical noise, but emotional and spiritual distractions. People, places, patterns that once felt necessary suddenly become unbearable. Your soul is upgrading, and upgrades require space. This is why the chosen ones often walk alone, not because they're unloved, but because they are being elevated. You begin to crave solitude like oxygen. You find beauty in your own company. You stop searching for validation in empty places. And in that solitude, something magical happens. You hear God more clearly. You feel your purpose more deeply. You realize that everything you were chasing was actually chasing you, once you became aligned. Others will think you've changed, and you have. Growth demands separation. The butterfly doesn't explain its wings to the caterpillar. Your evolution will confuse people who still need chaos to feel alive. But your peace is not up for negotiation. You were not chosen to entertain the crowd. You were chosen to obey the call. So let them wonder. Let them gossip. Let them leave. Because as you walk in silence, something divine is forming within you. Not a life of comfort, but a legacy of meaning. Not a life of popularity, but of power. You don't need to be loud to be legendary. You just need to walk with God, quietly, boldly, faithfully. That is the mark of the truly chosen. There's a voice inside you that you've been taught to ignore. It's subtle, but it never stops. It questions things others accept. It urges you to walk away from comfort, from conformity, from crowds. That voice, that's not fear, that's the divine compass within you. It's not your ego, it's your essence. The more you listen to it, the more aligned your life becomes. But we've been conditioned to silence it, to label it as overthinking, too sensitive, rebellious. So we numb it, distract it, bury it. Until one day, something happens, and it roars. You realize that ignoring your inner truth is far more painful than following it. That voice was never trying to destroy your life. It was trying to deliver your purpose. When you finally trust that inner pull, your entire world begins to shift. Old desires fall away. Shallow conversations become intolerable. You no longer chase, you attract. Because when you walk in truth, your energy becomes magnetic. What's meant for you flows toward you. Not because you begged, but because you became aligned. And yes, it can feel terrifying. Listening to the voice means leaving comfort, risking judgment, facing the unknown. But it also means finally breathing, finally living. You weren't created to follow someone else's map. You were born to trust the voice of God that speaks from your core. It knows the way, even when you don't. So stop asking for permission to follow your intuition. Stop apologizing for your sensitivity. That's your gift, your superpower. You were never crazy. You were called. And now, the only question left is, will you obey the voice, or will you keep betraying your own soul? You were born into a family, a culture, a system, but you were not created to repeat their patterns. You are the interruption, the breaker of chains, the one who sees what others ignore, feels what others deny, says what others fear. That weight you carry? It's the responsibility of being the first to walk a new way. Generational wounds don't heal themselves. Someone has to stop the cycle. Someone has to look at the pain, the silence, the denial, and say, no more. That someone is you, not because you're perfect, but because you were chosen. The patterns end with you, and the freedom begins because of you. It won't be easy. You'll be misunderstood, criticized, even resented. Healing threatens those who have built their identity on dysfunction. But don't let their fear stop your rise. You're not breaking the family, you're breaking the curse. And in doing so, you're setting a new standard for what love, truth, and strength look like. The path of a curse breaker is lonely at first, but eventually, others will follow. Your courage becomes their permission. Your healing becomes their hope. You are not just living for yourself. You are rewriting the story of your bloodline. Your decisions echo through generations. So don't shrink, don't fold, don't dim your light to make others comfortable. You were not born to inherit pain. You were born to transform it. What once ran in your family now runs into you. And it ends here, right now, with you. You keep waiting to feel ready, to feel good enough, holy enough, clean enough. But God doesn't wait for your perfection. He looks at your willingness. He doesn't choose based on credentials. He chooses based on character. The ones he calls are often the most unlikely. Why? Because their surrender creates the space for something divine to move through them. Look at every person God has used. Moses had a stutter. David was a shepherd. Rahab was a prostitute. Paul was a murderer. And yet, they were all chosen, not because of who they were, but because of who they were willing to become. You see flaws. God sees foundation. What disqualifies you in the eyes of man qualifies you in the eyes of heaven. You may feel unworthy. You may still battle demons, regrets, habits. But if you're still breathing, you're still called. And your calling isn't canceled because of your past. It's confirmed by your survival. The fact that you're still here, still searching, still seeking, that's proof. Something greater is waiting to be built through your obedience. Stop disqualifying yourself from a mission that was written before you were born. Your scars don't make you weak. They make you relatable. Your wounds don't cancel your calling. They authenticate it. The very thing you're ashamed of may become the tool that sets others free. Your pain will have purpose if you let it. So walk boldly, even if your knees shake. Speak truth, even if your voice trembles. Obey, even if you don't feel ready, because God doesn't anoint perfection. He anoints purpose. You're not meant to be flawless. You're meant to be faithful. That's what separates the chosen from the comfortable. The moment you start stepping into your purpose, the attacks begin. The enemy doesn't waste energy on people who are lost. He targets the awakened, the ones who are rising, the ones who carry light. That pressure you feel, that spiritual resistance, the darkness recognizes your glow, and it fears what you're becoming. You'll notice strange setbacks, unexplained fatigue, people turning on you, delays, distractions. But this is not coincidence. This is spiritual warfare. When heaven opens a door, hell tries to block it. But don't be afraid. Resistance is confirmation. The enemy only fights what threatens his control. Your growth is his alarm bell. What the enemy doesn't understand is that every attack only makes you stronger. Every delay sharpens your patience. Every betrayal builds your discernment. You don't collapse under pressure. You expand through it. Like a diamond under heat, your brilliance is revealed in adversity. And while the enemy plots your downfall, God is preparing your platform. What was meant to destroy you becomes your testimony. What tried to silence you becomes your message. The pain becomes fuel. The loss becomes leverage. And the very weapon formed against you becomes the reason you rise. So keep moving, keep praying, keep trusting. You're not cursed, you're called. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. The attacks are proof that your purpose is real. You are dangerous to darkness. And heaven is backing you, even when earth resists. You keep seeing the same numbers, don't you? 1111, 333. You hear the same name in random places. You run into someone who answers a question you didn't even ask out loud. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. The universe isn't random. When you're chosen, God speaks in patterns. The question is, are you listening? Signs are everywhere. But the world has trained you to ignore them, to believe only what is visible, logical, explainable. But the spiritual realm doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in layers. Through dreams, through delays, through sudden urges to pause or go. Every moment holds a message, if you slow down enough to notice. Sometimes your discomfort is the sign, that heaviness when you're in the wrong room, that sudden peace when you're on the right path. You keep looking for confirmation through people, but God keeps sending it through moments, through timing, through coincidences that are far too exact to be accidents. Don't expect burning bushes. Expect quiet nudges. Expect closed doors that protect you. Expect unexpected shifts that reroute you. When you're chosen, your life is guided by invisible hands. The more you trust the flow, the more clearly the signs appear. And when you obey them, life begins to move with divine precision. So start paying attention. That conversation you overheard, that delay in traffic, that dream you can't shake. It's all communication. God doesn't shout, He aligns. And when you're tuned in, even the smallest sign becomes sacred. Watch closely. Your instructions are already unfolding. You've been trying to save the world, but you haven't saved yourself. You've been pouring from an empty cup, searching for meaning in movements, hoping someone out there can tell you who you are. But the truth is, before you lead anyone, you must return to your own soul. The real mission begins within. You were never meant to lose yourself trying to fix others. You were meant to remember who you were before the world told you to be someone else. Strip away the titles, the trauma, the expectations. What remains is your essence. That is your compass. That is your true north, and it will lead you home. When you find yourself, you stop settling, you stop begging, you stop shape-shifting to be liked. Because when you know who you are, you walk different. You speak with quiet certainty. You don't chase, you attract. And the right people, opportunities, and paths begin to reveal themselves. Not because you forced them, but because you finally aligned. The world needs your light, your wisdom, your fire, but it needs the real you, not the version you became to survive. The leader within you cannot rise if you're still hiding behind wounds and masks. It's time to confront the mirror, to heal, to rise. You were not called to remain hidden. You were called to ignite. So take the journey inward. The silence isn't empty, it's sacred. The solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. Because once you know yourself, you become unstoppable. You're no longer controlled by fear or praise. You walk with purpose, with vision, with power. That's when you're ready. That's when you become the leader you were born to be. And now, take a deep breath. Because if your soul was stirred, if something inside you finally felt seen, it wasn't just a video you heard, it was a reminder of who you are, of who you've always been. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are becoming. Everything you've walked through, the silence, the pain, the strange inner pull, has been leading you here, to this moment, to this message, to the chosen path. If something in you awakened, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what part hit you the hardest? What did you finally understand about yourself? And if you made it all the way here, let me know you're one of the few who felt this message deeply. Type "The Chosen Path" in the comments. Let the world know you're not just watching from the sidelines. You're walking your divine path now. Until next time, stay grounded, stay bold, and most of all, stay chosen.